You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Hat tip Wilson Alexander over at The Advocate had a nice piece today where he sort of explained a new NIL effort that LSU is engaging in with their longtime media rights partner, Playfly Sports. If you're not familiar, so when you hear, like, for example, our sister station, Eagle 98.1, is the flagship for LSU Athletics. So we have a deal with the LSU Sports Radio Network. And if you're ever listening to a broadcast, you'll hear them say, this is a presentation of the LSU Sports Radio Network, a division of Playfly Sports. What happened is a lot of these collegiate media networks essentially sold their rights to Playfly, who then owns it, sells the rights, sort of things like that. And so LSU apparently joined a program started by Playfly Sports. It's an initiative called NILSU Max. And LSU granted Playfly the exclusive right to provide NIL services on behalf of the athletic department. And for this, the Playfly is paying LSU a rights fee. So Playfly paid LSU a $3 million signing bonus, or has to by June 2026. And then an additional $375,000 per year in annual rights fees through 2027. And then as long as Playfly provides the NIL service, it'll pay a $1 million signing bonus from 27 to 29 and a $3 million guarantee annually through the end of that contract. Okay. So all that to say, it's a lot of guaranteed money for LSU. And then Playfly gets the opportunity to go negotiate deals for LSU student athletes with companies. And Playfly has this wide network of businesses that they're already doing sponsorship deals with for their media broadcasts. Well, now they can go say, well, would you like to do an NIL deal with Garrett Nussmeier, whoever, right? And they would have the exclusive rights to go negotiate those deals. Now, Garrett Nussmeier could go do a deal on his own. He doesn't need Playfly to do a deal. Like, I could go to Garrett and say, hey, you want to endorse Parish Construction and Roofing? We could pay Garrett on the side and do a deal independent of Playfly. Like, that's still very much legal. But from an LSU perspective, I think this is really smart. This is a really smart thing to do because for a couple reasons. Number one, and remember, maybe this is the thing I should have started with. It is still assumed that revenue share is going to be rubber stamped, and that's going to start this fall. And revenue share is exactly what it sounds like. Athletic departments can share in their revenue with their student athletes up to $20.5 million. So every single athletic department knows now they are going to have to pay their student athletes $20.5 million. So that means they got to find that money in the budget, where they're cutting things in the budget, or they're making more money, or both. So new revenue streams and cutting waste in the budget is effectively what LSU and every athletic department is having to do. Because if you're LSU and you made $200 million in revenue and you spent $200 million in revenue, which is basically what happens every year. Most athletic departments operate at a deficit. LSU might make a little bit of money. But anyway, the point is you had to go cut in your budget and find new revenue streams. Well, here's a new revenue stream. And it's guaranteed. And it's something that wasn't going to make you any money anyway. Like, you weren't going to make money brokering deals, NIL deals for your student athletes. Now you can. And it's going to provide more opportunity for your student athletes because Playfly has a lot of these corporate partnership and relationships already, and they can go negotiate those deals. Great. So that's one. It's going to generate revenue in the revenue share era where everyone's looking for how can we make more revenue. Wilson also wrote about in his piece how LSU said sponsor logos on the field at Tiger Stadium are coming and at the box are coming. And whenever sponsorship patches are allowed on football jerseys LSU is going to be very aggressive in seeking a partnership there as well. So that's all coming. And that's fine. I don't care. Put a patch on the jersey, sell it. I mean, whatever. It's also very good that it's a third party that keeps it above board. Because one of the things that's happening with revenue share is NIL as pay for play is expected to cease. Every single NIL deal above $600 moving forward will have to go through a clearinghouse run by Deloitte. We've talked about this before. But basically, if student athlete X wants to do a $1,000 NIL deal with a local car wash, I'll use today's show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Let's say Brandon Holly wants to go do an NIL deal with Harold Perkins. I'm just throwing it out, hypothetically. And wants to pay Harold $2,000 for an appearance. Okay. Before that can be consummated, that deal has to go to Deloitte to approve that it's fair market value. And if it's not, they send it back and say, nope, can't do that. Here's what we suggest is fair market value. You can do this deal. Or they rubber stamp it. Everything over $600. So the idea is that's going to stop pay for play. You're not going to give someone $500,000 to sign a bat. You know what I mean? Like that's the hope here is that this stops. I'm very skeptical of it because I think as long as there is a will, you are going to find wealthy people who are trying to funnel money into their athletic departments are going to find a way to circumvent the rules. I don't know what it's going to look like. Just like when NIL started, when NIL started on July 1st of 2021, nobody had a concept of what a collective was or what it would do and become. So what will happen moving forward? I don't know. I just know that there's going to be people with money aggressively seeking ways to give their school a competitive advantage. I don't know how that's going to look, but that's going to happen. So all this to say, I think this is a great idea. Enforcement of it is going to be a challenge. But for LSU specifically with this deal with Playfly, I think it's really smart because what LSU didn't do back in July of 2021, they weren't ready to be aggressive in the NIL era. They thought they were by saying, hey, we're open for business, NILSU. They take Livy Dunn up to Times Square and put her on a billboard. Hey, come do deals with our student athletes. What they didn't realize is what was actually happening among the haves was massive fundraising for pay-for-play under the guise of NIL. And so LSU was very far behind. This shows LSU as being very progressive and getting out in front of this because not a lot of schools have done deals like this. So I like this. I like this for every reason you can like this. Ross Dellinger has a piece up right now at Yahoo if you want to go check it out. And when Ross was in town last week, he went and sat down with Brian Kelly over at Football Ops for a little while. Part of what they talked about was this new initiative, was rev share. And Brian Kelly told Ross that part of if there's violations, they're talking about heavy fines and suspensions. So you're talking about actual punitive damages. Like, you go awry of this, they could suspend you. All right, that is punitive. That has teeth. My point is, and will continue to be, that sounds great. How do you enforce it? Because the first time Deloitte nixes an NIL deal, they're getting sued. The NCAA is getting sued, and we've seen how that's happened. They keep losing in court over and over and over again. What's to say this is going to be any different? I don't know. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate what they're trying to do. Remains to be seen if they can actually execute. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.